Hey there, everyone. Looks like we're getting a good group here. Danny is driving. Hi, we'll say hi to Danny, but we won't expect her to be texting. Please don't text while you drive, um, unless somebody else is driving for you. But that's hopefully the case if you're going to text anyway. So anyway, we had a great week this week. In fact, I had a hard time. I went through the articles, and you guys posted so many good articles that I had a hard time figuring out which ones that I wanted to highlight this week. So kudos to everyone for their good research and everything that they are putting into putting those articles out there. It's been really fun reading them and seeing your comments. So I did pick three to highlight today. We got a short Kahoot. What is four questions? Four questions. They're going to be pretty taxing questions because there's not stuff that I necessarily taught. You'll have to extrapolate what I taught and think about what the answer might be based on what you've learned. So that's always a good thing to get the brain cells stretching a little bit. So I'm looking forward to seeing how well everyone does with that. And of course, because Kahoot is for fun, you don't get graded based on the Kahoot. We're just getting everybody warmed up and getting going. So, all right, well, let's go ahead and get our Kahoot started. And loading the game pin. Robert will put the game pin into the chat as soon as it comes up, for those players who want to get it from there. And okay, Seth. That's two. Jules. Ashley. Logan. Okay, Brody. Austin. Mike. All right. Connor. Justin. Diablo. Mark DeMarco. Good. Graham, good. Andrew, JD. Okay, that's 4, 8, 11, 14 in Preston. Okay. Anant. So that's 16, I believe. Yep, 16. It tells me the number right down there. I don't have to count them. I need to look at the screen. All right. Okay, have we got everyone here? I hope so. Everybody that can join, let's go ahead and get started. All right. Sorry I'm here, but okay, that's fine. Okay, we've got question number 1 coming up for Blockchain Week 5, 3, 2, and 1. True or false? Blockchains operate entirely through code written before the blockchain was launched and cannot be modified. True or false? So how many players did we have when it got done? Did you catch that? Okay.
I think 17-ish.
17-ish. We got 15 answers coming through. 16. All right. There's 17. And false is the correct answer. Blockchains are notorious for being updated as they go along. Bitcoin has been updated on many occasions. So has Ethereum. They've all been extended and upgraded as the need arises and as we learn more about the technology. The same would be true with any blockchain for business, that technologists can get in there, IT people can get in there and change in an authorized way, based on governance and all those kind of things, can modify those blockchains and update them when needed. So, okay. So we have Andrew taking the lead, but only by 1. So let's go to the next question. Another true or false. Ethereum uses off-chain governance. True or false? This one's going to scratch the brain cells here a little bit. What does it mean to have off-chain governance, and does Ethereum use that? All right, and we have a split decision here. Although the people who got it right were in the majority, that's good, but it was narrow majority. Yes, it does use off-chain governance. And Robert, would you mind explaining what off-chain governance is?
Sure. Simply by owning Ether does not give you the rights to vote on how Ether should be changed. They have a specific council separate that makes those changes and decides what changes should happen.
Okay. And there are a lot of other blockchain that put governance on chain, and by having a token or a coin on that blockchain, you get one vote per coin that you have. So that's the difference. And Ethereum uses it off chain. And that seems logical too if you think about it. Ethereum has so many side chains and so many projects that can use the Ethereum blockchain that governance within the blockchain trying to do it on-chain would be an enormous task. All right, next question. And what we got? Okay, Andrew's still there, but Diablo's coming up strong. All right, very good. And next question is a quiz. What is not a form of blockchain governance? Oh, and we got the White House picture there, huh? Okay. Is that the White House or is that one of the Congress?
It's one of the congressional buildings.
Okay, one of the congressional buildings. Okay. So, so you're looking for what one is wrong out of this. So tokenized governance, a separate token is issued which grants voting rights. Or on-chain governance, token holders vote on changes. Or off-chain governments, a voting group decides on changes. Or ungoverned, the token is unchangeable, so it does not need governing or governance. All right. We've got 16. One more thing, I think, in there. Or nope, two more. There's 18 total online right now. And did we get the 18th? Nope, we only got 17 answers. That's okay. So, ungoverned, good. Hey, I like the fact that everybody kind of, piled on ungoverned because you have to have governance. You have to have people deciding somewhere on what changes need to be made. And we always said at the very first question, yes, blockchains are edited and updated and upgraded, and there has to be a governance process governing that process. So, good. Very, very good. Okay, was that question number 4? And Andrew has the highest answer streak of 3. Andrew's answered all 3 of them correct. Wow. Was he in on the conference call that we had when we
right.
when we
Probably
took this? Oh, okay, fine.
It appears as though Lori's having an issue with the Kahoot. Sometimes they do mix up the colors or the positions. So it should be right otherwise, but it'll be a different position. You're looking to click the right color.
Okay. In other words, my screen might show it in a different order than it shows on your phone or your tablet or whatever you're looking at. All right. When we say blockchains are trustless, it means people have lost trust in crypto. Blockchain creates rules that remove the need for trust. Crypto can never be stolen. And nobody trusts the system, so verification is done by users. And the correct answer is we've got 18 answers in there. Is there a 19th person here?
May have joined late.
Okay. Well. Okay. Well, everybody knew the answer to that one. That's good. That's good. We just have 2 outliers. Hey, that is exceptional. Well, let's see if who was it? Andrew that had a streak of 3 last time. Let's see if he kept his streak going. All right. And Preston took over first place. Okay. No, third place. Okay. And then Graham. And number one, hit the spotlight there, is Seth. All right. So, runners up, Andrew and Logan. Andrew, did you miss that last question? Okay. Way cool. Way cool. That was fun. That was fun. I like that. All righty. Okay, so
press the wrong button there. Give me just one moment.
You have to press the button in order to get it started. Well, we had a technical difficulty. We had buttonitis. He hit the wrong button. He hit the off button instead of the record button.
Is that the record button?
No, down here on the right there. And you have to hear it ding. Aha, you heard it ding. Now you should see the red thing going and flashing and stuff. We're getting a recording going. All right, good. Okay, one of the first articles, I just see 4 blocks, no questions, not answers, nothing. Oh, I'm sorry, Lori. That is bad. Hopefully next time, it didn't happen last week, I suppose. Hopefully, I got them all just slower than the speed demons. Very good. Good now, Andrew. Okay, so this article was one of the first ones I read, and I was intrigued by it because this guy makes slivers basically out of the different kinds of blockchains that can be profitable. And the reason I say slivers is because he's dividing up the pie pretty fine. There's some pretty delicate definitions of his differences between the different types of making money, and I'll try to navigate those small differences and get you an idea. But the whole idea is a business model is a way a business pursues a topic in order to make money. So let's say you're in the retail business like Lowe's or Home Depot. You have a big store, you put product on the floor, and you sell to customers who walk into your store. You could be an Amazon.com, and you have totally online business. You have warehouses everywhere else, and you ship your product constantly. That's another business model. Another business model might be an insurance agency or various types of travel agencies or such. So essentially, it just means that you're conducting business in a certain way, using a certain focus or model. Okay, so that kind of defines our model here. And what we want to do is come down here. They've provided a very nice graphic here. And this graphic gives you an idea of the different kinds of blockchain models. And these different models, all the way from what they call a token economy, blockchain as a service, blockchain-based software products, development platforms, blockchain professional services, a network fee charge. In other words, you create something and you charge a network fee. I'll detail that out in a minute. And P2P blockchain business model. So let's go through each of these and kind of define what kind of business models that they actually are. So as we look at this, I'm going to scroll on down here, and I'm going to start, because they don't do it in order of the graphic, which seemed odd to me, the P2P business model, which is peer-to-peer business model. So the peer-to-peer business model is basically what blockchain is. I mean, blockchain is meant to be distributed. It's meant to be, diversified out among a lot of participants. And those participants are peer-to-peer participants. In other words, they'll have Home Depot, like we used last week. Home Depot has a lot of their suppliers. All their suppliers are peers because they all supply product to Home Depot, and they're all entering their data in the system to track the products. So in that case, the suppliers are peers. But what if Home Depot and Lowe's decided to use that same blockchain for their supply chain? That could happen. They could make use of the same infrastructure. They could make use of the same technology, just like TradeLens did, where they had multiple different suppliers, some of which were even competitors in that marketplace as they transported cargo across the oceans. So we have a situation where the peer-to-peer blockchain model is one that allows the businesses to work in it together. And normally they have tokens, and any business that does work or does entries into the system is incentivized by receiving tokens that can either be sold on the market or sold on the blockchain for real cash, for compensation for work done. So that's the P2P business model. Now, blockchain as a service business model. Here we see highlighted here, three of them. There's Microsoft Azure, there's Amazon Web Services, there's IBM and all of their offerings, and we've talked about IBM quite a bit. So what they offer is they have blockchains that are cookie cutter. They can just join them and use them. They have some for retail, some for supply chain, some for various different uses, and a business can just plug into them. Probably one of the most notable ones is IBM has the Food Trust blockchain, where a business such as Walmart, who does use it, can plug into the Food Trust blockchain, have their suppliers join the Food Trust blockchain, and they can manage their supply chain from, womb to tomb, from field to store, so to speak. So that's what blockchain as a business model does. The company, like IBM, owns the blockchain. They own the infrastructure. They keep maintaining it. They probably charge a fee for each of the participants to join. And so they offer the software on their servers, and away they go. Okay, so now we get into the token economy. Now, token economies, they have blockchains that the token does the work. And they use the example of Ripple here. And Ripple is meant to be a token used by banks to transfer funds from bank to bank. Trust companies also use it to transfer monies between trusts for real estate sales and various different financial transactions. So what happens is Ripple is used as the mechanism to transfer the money. It's transferred over the Ripple network, and then it leaves the one entity, the one bank, and then goes over to the other bank or other entity where that money then is transferred into the cash that is needed on that other side. So Ripple becomes the mechanism. The cash, you buy the Ripple with it. Ripple then does the work of moving over to another blockchain, and then the Ripple is cashed in and the money is transferred. So those utility tokens are what does the work. So in that network, they talk about it should have a proper role, it has features, and it has a purpose. So there are other competitors out there to Ripple. Ripple's not the only one that does this. But basically, they're just a fee-for-service thing. There's a little bit of a fee to make that transfer, and the Ripple network itself functions based on collecting those small fees, which are a whole lot smaller than bank transfer fees in the traditional sense. Okay, then we have blockchain-based software products. Now, all of us know that we can go to a store and buy a package of software. I just downloaded my tax software so I could do my taxes this year from Intuit. So I downloaded their TurboTax software. Those are called commercial off-the-shelf packages. And businesses do that all the time. They are getting very adept at buying certain software packages, taking it, and then just using the settings to establish settings that fit their business. So SAP, for example, is probably the biggest package of software that companies will buy and install. And SAP says, don't monkey with the code, because if they do, the next upgrade that comes along will undo all that code anyway. So SAP is a huge COTS software package, and there are a lot of different bolt-on products that go with SAP that are also COTS packages that can be purchased for various different business needs. So blockchain-based software products then would mean, here's a software product, you can use it internally as a more of a Trojan horse sort of blockchain package. I believe that Home Depot is pretty much set up that way, that they just have it in-house and they don't have any competitors joining it that would distribute that data. But there are packages for various needs such as that. And then the businesses just pay for the software and plunk it into their system, and away they go. Okay, development platforms. We've heard of Solidity, and we've heard of, what's the software that IBM uses? Hyperledger, yeah, Hyperledger. Both of those are development platforms, and there are a lot of other development platforms. Solidity and Hyperledger are probably the two largest ones. Corda is another one, where it's just a development platform. And so in order to use the development platform, a lot of times you'll buy it with a consultant. If you do Hyperledger through IBM, you're buying Hyperledger from IBM in particular, meaning that you're buying the consulting services of IBM to get it installed and up and running and so forth. Corda is a not shareware, but open source. Corda is open source. Hyperledger technically is open source, but it depends on the vendor. It's kind of like going to Red Hat that distributes Linux. Most companies don't have the ability to program Linux like Red Hat can do, so you just generally buy the whole package. The labor comes with it. So that's basically the development platform side. And companies make money with the development platforms by usually offering their services to install and configure the software packages. So here's one that I struggle to understand exactly how this one does. They mention dApps in here, which are distributed applications. And distributed applications are generally on the Ethereum blockchain. They use smart contracts. There's generally not a corporate structure behind it. The dApp does all the work by itself. So you get into the dApp, you pay a fee so the developers can keep updating the distributed application, but you join the dApp because the dApp does particular work for you. And so what has been postulated is you could have a taxi company, for example, that's totally run on a dApp. You have some corporate infrastructure, but not management, because the dApp totally runs it, kind of like not YouTube, kind of like Uber and Lyft, where you've got an app on your mobile phone and you can call up to order a car to be brought to you and pick you up and take you where you need to go. They've postulated that a dApp could do the work that an Uber or Lyft company does with a lot less personnel through smart contracts. So, and then if you have autonomous cars, you don't even have drivers. So the possibilities are there, and I wouldn't be surprised if in the future we start seeing some company try to move that direction, especially when the autonomous cars are completely authorized to actually drive on our roads. And then there's blockchain professional services. And here's where another hair is being split, because blockchain professional services can come along with the actual blockchain, as in IBM sharing Hyperledger with you, or other companies that actually come and install their version of blockchain. But blockchain professional services basically says, I'm just going to hire a consultant that knows how to do blockchain, and I'm going to bring them in and they're going to do my blockchain for me. I'm not going to buy the blockchain from them. I'm just going to hire the services of that professional to come and to be part of the my tech team to develop the software. So those are the ways in which companies can actually become part of the blockchain movement going forward. In fact, later on we're going to talk a little bit about how much this is causing a huge demand in the need for blockchain professionals that can actually program. So, as with all new technology, people have to come up to speed and learn. In order to learn it, they've got to learn it so that they can go help companies to actually deploy and build these packages. So anyway, that's the ways that you can make money, and hopefully you've got some benefit out of what we got here. Hopefully you can hit that like button down there and get this live stream out to other people. And we'll move on to our next subject after a short break. Well, welcome back, everyone. Hey, Laurie, we're going to do a little bit of investigating on the Kahoot. I do believe on your handheld that you only get the colors. You don't actually get the answers printed. So I think you have to watch the screen to get which color you want to answer and then hit the color on the phone. If somebody else in chat can confirm that, that would be nice. Also, confirm whether you actually see the question, whether you have to look at the screen or the live screen to get the question too. Because if it's the case that you don't get, that's what Justin said. That's what his does. If that's the case, like I've got Lori driving, she's not looking at a screen right now. Okay. Okay, nope.
Questions on the computer, not the phone.
Okay, you can see the question on the computer, but you can't see the question on the phone. Okay, that'll modify the way I announce the answers. I'll say if you want blue, it's this answer. Yellow is this answer. I'll start adding that when I talk it, so that so we can have everybody who can't see a screen can participate. So we'll work on that and do better next time. Okay, thanks for the input, Lori. Appreciate it. Do very much appreciate that. All right, I'm going to kind of jump topics here. I'm going to skip over the digitized DMV for a moment and go to the last one because I kind of half introduced it in my last video. So what I want to talk about this time is that demand for skills to program blockchain have shot through the roof this last year. And so what I want to do is go over an article here that highlights, some research that one particular company did. One of you also submitted this article, and I thought it was extremely telling that if you decide to have a career learning how to program in Corda or Hyperledger or the other one that I mentioned earlier, any one of those languages, you can probably get a career that in this article later on, it actually says that it's a more viable career now than IT security. Now, IT security is pretty big. That has a lot of demand as well. So anything from IT security to possibly blockchain might be a good career path to go on. So let's see some of the details down here, because down here it basically right here in this paragraph, it says, in analysis published by DevSkiller, an IT skills assessment platform, finds demand for blockchain skills increased 552% in 2020. Basically, it went up by 5.5 times the demand in 2021. That's how to read that. So interest in blockchain is on the rise, likely because of its enhanced security, greater transparency, and instant traceability. The report's authors maintain the report's findings are based on 209,249 coding tests sent through the DevSkiller platform to candidates from 54 countries. So it's fairly widespread. 54 countries is pretty broad, but 209,000 requests for blockchain-related skill assessments. So that's where they're getting their data from. Now, as we go down here, they said talks about other technologies, and then down looking for it. It says cybersecurity is also high up here. Salesforce development. We talked about Salesforce. I'm looking for. Well, I'm not finding it this time. Okay, there we go. That's what I was looking for right there. Breaking down the blockchain-related IT skills went into smaller pieces. Solidity was the most commonly tested skill, with 44% share in the number of skills assessments sent to candidates and employees. Beat out hard hat and smart contracts that rounded out the first three positions. So notice Hyperledger isn't even on there, nor is Corda or Yeah, Hyperledger or Corda not on there. Solidity is the number one there. So if you're going to focus, there's a lot of good courses out there for Solidity. If you go to the Blockchain Council, they have a fairly modest fee for joining, and then you can buy courses in the various developer platforms, and they're very good. And they offer lifetime certification once you get it, where you can actually prove to your potential boss or somebody you're applying for a job that you have that skill and that you've been able to demonstrate that. So this incredible information about the potential of a lot of different areas. So hopefully that helps. And let's go ahead and move on to our next subject. Do you think so?
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay. Here's another one that was submitted by our student, one of the students. California always is kind of leaping ahead. And as much as I don't like a lot of California politics, and I would never want to live there, they're going to try to digitize their DMV records through a blockchain. And literally, DMV offices and offices that basically can tap into a blockchain are the perfect decentralized environment for a blockchain. So you can imagine, you go to a DMV office, and the DMV office, has their computer system, and it taps into the state's computer system. Imagine if that was blockchain, and each DMV office is running a node. And each node then contributes to that blockchain, contributes to the consensus mechanism, contributes to all of the workings of the blockchain, and then brings you all the benefits of having a blockchain. So what they plan to do is they plan to not only put just the title transfers on the blockchain, but they also intend to do that same thing that one company does to see if you've got a clean title. What's that company?
The
Carfax. Yeah, they're planning on doing the same, similar to what Carfax does. So they've tapped a company called Oxhead Alpha to build a private Tezos testnet. So in other words, kind of the same thing with IBM developing for the trade lens. You've got a company that's going to use the Tezos blockchain, and through the Tezos blockchain, which is basically an Ethereum competitor, it is a smart contract driven network. The whole idea behind Tezos is that it's lightning fast, and that's why Ethereum had to try to compete with them by going off of proof of work and getting on proof of stake. So Tezos is lightning fast. They're going to develop what they call a shadow ledger. In other words, they're going to build a parallel system to go work next to their current system to do that testing phase. So they're trying in the next 3 months to get the shadow ledger up and running so they can run them in parallel. And then it was announced January 6th, so it was announced quite recently. Then there was another couple things. The whole idea is here, in this paragraph here. It says, while faulty vehicles have a special designation on the titles in California. In other words, a faulty vehicle is, like, for example, your vehicle gets into an accident. And frankly, I had a vehicle that I loved that little car. It was a little white car. I think it was a little foreign car. Can't remember. Kia. It was a little Kia. And it was a great little car. It functioned well and everything. And I was in a grocery store parking lot, and I was driving down the road, down an aisle, and a big pickup truck and my small car. The pickup truck was in the parking space, couldn't see where I was at. I was going by its back end, and it backed into my rear left quarter panel. Well, having done that, the car was old enough and inexpensive enough that the insurance company totaled it. Now, it was drivable. It was still in very good shape. It just cost more to repair than the value of the car. So that's the way insurance companies deal with things like that. It's totaled. Send it to the junkyard. So if I were to keep that, feeling that I wanted instead to get it repaired, in spite of the fact that it was going to cost me more than the value of the car, if I had decided to do that, that would have been considered a faulty title. Okay, so because it had been taken from a totaled condition to a drivable and back on the road condition, and that would stay with the car forever. Now, that might not seem very fair. It was just a rear quarter panel that got crunched, but it was expensive to repair, so it got that designation. But some vehicles, like for example, how many cities were flooded out this last couple months in California? How many cars were caught up in the flood? Technically, all of those cars were totaled. And because they're totaled, even if you took them, dried them out, prepared them, and got them back on the road, they would be considered faulty vehicles. And the challenge is that when you get a title, if you can't get a Carfax on that title, you don't know. So the DMV is planning to have that benefit right along with their titles. So, do we have a question? We call those salvage titles in Missouri. Yeah, exactly. I was in Washington. They called it a defective title in Washington at the time. So, Washington State, not Washington, Missouri. Had fun with that confusion for a while. Anyway, okay, so Governor Gavin Newsom signed an executive order to direct and explore opportunities for blockchain tech integrations with state government agencies. And notice it said agencies. It probably is going to start with the DMV. If it's successful with the DMV, it'll probably move on to other agencies. They could probably even use the same Tezos blockchain structure. They would just have different forms and collect different data from the various different places, and that could easily be done. So, great article there, and a great use of blockchain. So, alrighty, questions put in the chat window. Robert, could you call for roll, and we'll.
Yeah, we didn't do that at the end of class today, did we?
Beginning? Yes, you did.
Oh, good.
Yes. Faulty memory there. He's getting old, you know.
Sure.
All right. So, you know, if once you sign in, tell me you're here. Lori, if you're driving, please don't. Danny, sorry. Danny, if you're driving, please don't. I've accused Lori of driving all night, haven't I?
I think so, yeah.
I think I have. Oh, gosh. I'm getting old, aren't I? Anyway.
I think when it comes to that article, Tezos is actually a very good choice for what they're looking to do. It is very adaptable, very quick, and it was developed intentionally to spin off lots of other small use cases. So it allows them to get into it very, very quickly.
Very good. Yeah, very good. I'm off now. Thanks. Thanks, Danny. All right. Well.
Okay.